Aloha and good afternoon. Welcome to Maui Nonprofit Notes. We're talking story with Maui's nonprofit executive directors and staff to find out how they're working to support the needs of Maui's community. We're sponsored by Pacific Source, Maui's best source for building materials, with a cabinet and appliance showroom open to the public in the Waikapu Bayshard. I'm Susie Tiemann, interim executive director at Lokahi Pacific and president of the Maui Nonprofit Directors. Today we have Colleen Welty with us, who is the executive, Maui branch director, okay, because it's the National Kidney Foundation of Hawaii, right? So each island has its director.
Correct. We're part of the statewide organization. So Glenn Hayashida is our director in Oahu, and then I'm the Maui branch.
Cool. And you've been doing this for about 3 years now?
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
That was a good guess, huh?
Yeah, really. I'm impressed.
Actually, it wasn't a good guess. I heard your interview yesterday.
Oh.
I have to fess up, Sorry about that. But that was a good interview as well.
Oh, thank you.
So you're getting the word out there.
Trying to, yeah.
And you've just moved offices, I understand.
Yes, we did. We do collection of clothes as one of our fundraisers, and we are now much more accessible down on Waiali, where Wells ends and hits into Waiali, right by Norman's Mortuary. Mm-hmm. There's a little turquoise roofed building there with Palm Travel and Imura's and Dawn Riki hair salon. And we're in there, if you're coming out of down on Lower Main after Hayashi Car Wash, there's some containers on the side and then our building. So we're in there, so it's real easy for people to drop off donated items, small housewares and clothes.
That's great. For those of you who are watching our podcast, it's over there. Now, I've always wanted to say that on the radio, It's like, okay, that's the next level, right?
We do have pods, actually, in Kihei and upcountry, now that you mention
true.
it.
At
They're
Longs.
They're a little different than what you were talking about, but there are pods donated
Yes.
by the pod company, and we have one in front of the Longs in Kihei and up by the Longs in
Kulamalu.
Exactly. So it's very handy for people, and they can go from 10 to 5 and get a receipt from a person who's staffing it.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah.
That's great. Hey, everybody's got some clothes.
Right. Housewares, small things. We don't take like beds, but we take the linens and house. If people are moving, downsizing, whatever. So
Terrific, terrific. I guess that's one of the things that we all, as executive directors, have to think about is how easy can we make it for people to help us?
Exactly. Exactly.
Because most people do want to help. Mm-hmm. It's just that when they have to, drive from upcountry to Lahaina or something to do it, they're not going to help you all the time. They'll help you when they're there. But
and we are looking for a place to put one in Lahaina.
Good
in
segue.
Case anybody has a nice, easy location, drive-through, drop-off that we could put a pod. We'd love to have one for the people of Lahaina.
Uh-huh. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, you brought somebody with you today who's got a story. We were talking before we went on the air a little bit, and I'm fascinated with the story and can't wait to hear more. Introduce us and let him talk.
Stacy Silva, who is a kidney patient, and he wanted to come in and talk story with us today.
Good afternoon.
Hi, Stacy.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm okay.
You're okay.
Yeah,
and,
I'm doing great.
He says that with a smile, but when he gets done telling us the story, we're going to just marvel even more at that smile and that attitude. It's fabulous. So, Stacy, you're fit, you're bicycling, you're running, you do it all.
Yeah, I try to maintain my health. I do a lot of cycling still yet, not as much as I used to. I still do running. In 2010, I took over as a branch manager for Wesco Electrical Distribution. And I'm just living life to its fullest.
There you go. So your association with the Kidney Foundation starts back when?
In 2009, on November 7th exactly, I got diagnosed with kidney failure.
Kidney failure,
And
just right there.
Right there. I went to the doctors. I was having vision problems, and I was feeling a little bit tired. And from my eye doctor, it switched to another doctor, and they did some tests. They thought I was diabetic, and I was not diabetic. And they continued, and finally they found out that I was in massive kidney failure that day. And I had to rush myself down to emergency.
That was it?
That was it. Basically, they gave me a short timeline to be alive.
Oh my gosh, that's unbelievable news.
Yeah.
To have to take in and
yeah, it was a little bit of a shock, but once you're in emergency, and I kind of realized I didn't think I was going to go anywhere. I kind of just accepted it and just moved on from there. Just told him, let's see what we got to do and let's do it.
Well, that was a statement that you made earlier when we talked. Just tell me what I got to do,
Right.
because it's not over. Just tell me what I got to
Yeah,
do.
exactly. You know, and in my mind, I was sitting in the emergency room telling them I'm not ill, and telling the doctors, bring my bike and I'll go prove to you right now, and I'll ride to Lahaina.
So you didn't feel sick.
No.
You just had
I felt tired.
tired,
I felt tired.
and you had the eye problem,
Yeah, an eye problem, and that was it.
which are symptoms of so many other things as well.
Exactly. You know, because I wear contacts, I just thought it was my time to change my contacts.
Aha.
So when my vision flipped, I just went to my eye doctor and, okay, it's time for, and initially he said, oh yeah, we're just going to upgrade your contacts. Before I left the office, he decided to do one last test. And he did a pressure test on my eye. And that's when the next day he called me and he said, hey, you need to go see this person because I think you're diabetic, and that's not good. You know, but I also had symptoms of cramping in my hands,
Okay.
cramping in my calves. You know,
Which is another sign.
which is another sign, yeah, and which I didn't really know. But when the cramping was getting bad, I kind of thought something was really wrong.
So it wasn't that occasional cramp that all of us get.
Yeah,
It
it's
was
starting to progress more.
Okay.
You know, but
Okay.
in my mind, I was saying there was nothing wrong, but there was something definitely wrong.
And that was something that you mentioned earlier too, is that you thought maybe your training wasn't quite what you had been doing,
Yeah.
and that maybe some of this you were bringing on yourself.
Well, the fitness part, I noticed my fitness was slacking,
Uh-huh.
and but when the cramping started to come in, I knew something was definitely not right.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're in failure.
Right, I was in failure. Yeah.
We're not talking about.
So according to when I went into the emergency room, I should have passed 2 weeks prior. But my blood was not very good. All the
Right.
results was coming back was saying that they could not figure out how I was there at that moment.
So your fitness level
Yeah.
when you got sick probably saved you, huh?
Right, the fitness level, and because even though I was tired, I was still doing my cycling, and that was helping to remove whatever toxins that my kidneys was not working, that was in my body. So I found that the more cycling I can live a normal life.
Gosh. Wow. So now that was 2009. We're in 2012
Right.
now, so 3 years. And have you been on dialysis ever
I've
since
been on
then?
dialysis since November 7th. Yeah.
Okay. And you started out, I think you mentioned something about the heavy dose when you first start out.
Yeah, when you first start, they go by your weight. And the normal time that most normal patients, from what I understand, is 4 hours. But as you move on and they figure out your system, then you can start lowering your time. And if you
Three times a week.
3 times a week, yeah.
Right.
So you can the least, from what I understand, you can go is 3 hours. And when you're on dialysis, every 15 minutes, that's a great thing. So from then lowering it from 4 hours down to 3:45, 15 minutes, it means a lot to you when you're on dialysis.
That's just incredible. And now, one of the things that you commented also earlier that I thought was interesting was we're talking about a room full of people
Right.
on dialysis
Right.
when you're there.
Yeah. There's 6 what they call pods. I believe there's 9 to 10 chairs in each pod, and on the average, at least that 9 chairs is filled at all times.
So
Like
that,
three times a day they turn over. Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
in 3 hours times, 3 or 4 hours times.
Well,
3
some
times.
people 5 hours.
Really.
Yeah. Some people it goes to 5 hours.
Wow.
And to be there 5 hours, that's quite a long time.
That's a long time.
Yeah. So for me, I'm glad. My 320 is great.
I guess.
I just love it.
I guess. Now, when you finish dialysis, are you re-energized, or do you feel a difference?
Some days you have your good days. For the most part, you get a little bit tired. I've been noticing the longer I am on dialysis, I get a little bit tireder when I leave.
Okay.
And the next morning, you have your good mornings, you have your bad mornings. But basically, it's about how you maintain your health. If you bring in too much fluids, you're going to pay the price. If they have to bring you down to what they call your dry weight.
Oh.
So, it's just how much fluid you take in over the weekend is the hardest. For me, my schedule is Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So now from Saturday to Tuesday, you really have to watch your fluids.
I see.
So if you gain too much weight, now they have to bring you back to your dry weight. And if you gain too much, that's when the cramping comes in. And yeah, so it's just how you maintain yourself throughout the
But it's like anything else. You can get used to it.
Yeah, you can get used to it,
and it becomes
you know,
second.
and you find what works for you.
Yeah.
And because I'm still active for myself, I found what works for me. It's not what works for every dialysis patient,
Sure.
but I found what works for me. So for me, I can basically lead a pretty normal life, except going to dialysis. I look at it like a part-time job that I'm not getting paid at. That's what I look at it. 3
Kinda
times
like
a week.
volunteer
I have this
work,
part-time
yeah.
job,
Yeah, right. Right.
So I found what works for me. Like, it might not work for you, but I found what works for me. So for myself, I can pretty much lead a normal life.
I think the thing that just amazes me as I sit here and look at you and listen to you, it's just like, it can't be. And that's why, isn't it kidneys that, it's not called the silent killer, is it?
It is,
It
yeah,
is.
because we do take them so for granted until something goes wrong, and usually there aren't a lot of early warning signs, so they can be really almost ready to fail by the time we find out about it. So that's why we're doing this to Kidney to Kind on the 28th of April, a week from this Saturday at Queen Ka'amanu Center. We'll probably screen 100 to 150 people and it's a blood draw, not a whole draw, but just a finger prick, and urinalysis. So we use the restrooms up back by the food court, and then they come out of the back side of there, and we have urinalysis machines, and so they get their results on both their blood and their urine. And if the kidneys aren't working well, there's usually excess protein leaking over into the urine. And because your kidneys are your washing machines
Right.
of your body. And so before people leave that, it takes about 45 minutes at the most, I would think, depending upon usually the people just kind of trickle in very nicely between 10 and 2, but it is fasting. Well, we
Oh.
prefer, if it's not fasting, we note that on their sugar, because their glucose level will be higher if they've eaten. But before they leave, they talk one-on-one with a doctor, a nurse, or a registered dietitian. And these are all volunteers that help us at all these different stations. And so it's a big event, and
So do they get the results right there?
yes, they do.
Okay, so if there's something going on, they have somebody they can talk to right there.
Exactly.
And find out what the next step
Yeah,
is.
and usually that's see your doctor, because your results are a little outside the norm, and so that's what we recommend. But it's nice that we don't send them away thinking, well, is this
When are
good
they
or
gonna call
bad,
me?
or
Yeah.
is this scary or what? So they talk. And the same volunteers have helped us. This is the 7th year. We've screened just over 800 people in the 6 years of this event. So it's a good event. And we have entertainment, too. So we make it fun with Jimmy Mack and the Cool Cats, Nuff Said, and Uluvehi Guerrero's Hula Halau. His Keiki are going to be there.
Keiki.
So
Cool.
irresistible. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Now, do most people who come to an event like this suspect something's going on, or is it just they're shopping, they see it, and they go, oh, why not?
Some of each. Some people don't have insurance, of course, these days, and it's a good way to get a second opinion, and maybe your doctor won't do the tests that you really want, and or you're just afraid to go to the doctor. This makes it a little bit less scary. There's not a lot of white jackets or anything, and so it's a little bit of everything. Some people come year after year and have gotten themselves down in their blood pressure, down in their weight, increased their exercise, and they come to see their good results. And some people say, oh, this is like a good little checkup to make sure and we always have some who have high blood pressure, have high blood sugar, and have some protein in their urine. So it's a way to just say, yep, you need to go to the doctor, and don't put this off.
Right.
It's not going to get better by itself unless you make some drastic changes. And sometimes even with that, and sometimes you can be perfectly healthy like Stacy, and this comes out of the blue.
Yeah. Wow. We got to take a short break for Pacific Source. We'll be right back with Stacy and Colleen and talk more about kidney disease.
Aloha from Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in Central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are a Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
Okay, welcome back. This is Maui Nonprofit Notes, your weekly talk story with Maui Nonprofit Executive Directors. Today we're talking with Maui Branch Director Colleen Welty of the National Kidney Foundation, and she's brought one of her clients with her, Stacy, who's he's the picture of physical fitness. I mean, I'm just sitting here going, my gosh. This can't be. But as he mentioned to us earlier, for those who are just joining in, he was having some vision problems, and he started having some cramping and getting tired, not his normal routine. And so his eye doctor was the one that told him he needed to go see somebody.
Chester Tawalski. He was
He's
the man.
The guy, huh?
He's the guy. He just retired.
Did he
just
really?
Retired.
Wow.
But he was the man who discovered it, and because of him, I'm still here.
That's terrific. Yeah. And we talk about how attitude is 90% of it, and such an attitude. It's just fabulous. I mean, to be sitting there, and sometimes we don't know enough to really be scared. In some of these cases where there's a disease, that somebody's telling you about. That you have, and it's an obscure disease, and okay, whatever, But kidney disease, I think we all know. When somebody says you're in kidney failure, you've got a problem.
Yeah.
And to be able to turn around and say, "Tell me what I got to do," you're not going to beat it. It's not a curable disease, but it's a replaceable.
Right. He is on the list for a transplant in 2 to 5 years, perhaps. There's a waiting list.
And that's what...
Unless you can find a donor. If you can find a donor with a perfect match for you, a family member
right.
and stuff, then you can get in there faster.
Right.
Once the testing is completed and all that stuff, you can get in there pretty fast.
There's got to be some issues, though, with that. We talked, again, earlier on about, when couples... or somebody in the family says, well, take mine, or brother or sister or whoever. That would be a hard one, for me, I think.
Well, for one thing is if you have a family member that matches, if they smoke, they can't put a kidney transplant in you.
Oh.
If your donor is a smoker, they will not touch the donor, I believe, for 3 years.
Okay.
Something like that, 3 years.
Really?
Yes.
I guess that makes sense.
They want them to be really healthy.
Yeah, they want it to be really healthy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess to me it would be like, okay, if I accepted that kidney and then something happened to their other kidney, then how do I feel?
That's what always
think,
runs in the back of your mind,
People say I think too much about things. And,
but, that's, to me, that's what runs in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
And
so that's why you preferred to go on the wait list and do the dialysis.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's just... it becomes part of your routine, I guess.
Exactly. It's like a whole different type of family that you have now. You know, like for me, I look at it like as a part-time job. But I met some nice people up there, and they're friendly. Everybody's nice.
Do you kind of have the same group?
As far as the nurses, the nurses rotates every day. You go, you have a different nurse.
But like the people being on dialysis, are they on the same schedule you are?
Yeah.
Okay.
Most everybody has the set schedules.
Right.
You have a specific chair time on your schedule, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturdays. For me, my chair time is 3:45, and they should start the procedure at 4:00 if everything goes right.
I see.
Yeah.
Now, is this is the kidney dialysis right up here by Kaiser?
Yes.
Liberty
Yeah,
Dialysis.
Liberty.
Liberty.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they have one over at Kahana side too.
Yeah, and
Oh,
I
they
think
did.
they just did one in Hana.
Yeah, the
I think
Hana
they did
one
a
is a
small
little
one.
bit different. Yeah,
Right.
it's not in someone's home, and it's not a dialysis center. It's kind of a Hana style of both
Okay.
of those.
Gotcha.
Unique to Hana.
Okay.
you know.
Okay. But at least they don't have to travel back
Exactly,
and forth.
like they used to.
'Cause I remember people talking about the ride in and the ride home, and
If
I
a
mean,
tree
that's
goes
just-
down, you can't get there, and
That's
what are you
true.
going to do, and all that. So that it's very important that they have it there. And I believe the dialysis center here just did a backup generator project, so
Yeah.
that if there's power failures, in the middle of your dialysis, that would not be a good thing. So they have a backup
Yeah.
generator now.
Yeah.
That's great. Just for everybody out there, I'd like to kind of go over the symptoms. And I pulled this down off your website, and it says most people may not have any severe symptoms until their kidney disease is advanced. And that's exactly what you've been telling us.
Exactly,
There
yeah.
it was. You feel more tired, have less energy, have trouble concentrating, poor appetite, trouble sleeping, muscle cramping at night, swollen feet and ankles, puffiness around your eyes, especially in the morning, dry, itchy skin, need to urinate more often, especially at night. Any one of those, we're not talking about all of these are
Right.
happening.
Right.
And these are the symptoms of so many other things. Like
Exactly.
what we said earlier. It's like, okay, but the answer to all of this is see your doctor.
Go get checked.
Find out. Come to the Kidney to Kind Day. Get that initial test done. If it shows something's out of whack, then follow through and go see your doctor and follow up on it. Don't take chances.
No.
Because if it's at this point, the chances aren't good.
Right.
And like what they told you, but you're proving them wrong. I just mentioned I love you.
Thanks.
You're just an awesome story
Thanks.
and an awesome person.
And his wife is too. She's going to be working at our Kidney
she? Yeah.
Foundation table at the health fair. And there's also another group called Legacy of Life that helps people that have had family members donate or have been the recipients. We were just up at the mayor's office Friday for a organ donor proclamation signing because it's donor month, and there were people that had received livers and kidneys and people whose relatives had given them, and it's a really cool group. So that's the Legacy of Life.
Sheesh. Wow, that is interesting. That is interesting. And I think the one thing that I want to kind of put out there to everybody is if you're diagnosed, understand the diagnosis is for your own good so that you can move forward the right way.
Right. Your life has not ended.
Right.
Even if they tell you you have to go to dialysis and your life is not ended.
Right.
It's a real life-saving place.
Right. It
Right.
is. And you don't have to stop living.
Yeah.
You can do everything you did before.
And you're still out there riding your bike.
Yep. Still riding my bike. I still do my running. I do everything the same. Nothing has slowed me down.
That's tremendous.
Isn't that
Gosh.
great?
Wow. What's the word I want?
Inspiration.
There you go. There you go. What an inspiration you are to people. Thank you so much for sharing
thank you
with
for
us.
having us.
And all the best to you.
Thank you.
We hope that number comes up sooner and that you get that kidney.
Thank you very much.
But just, I don't know what to say. And I'm hardly ever speechless, right, Colleen? But it's awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And thank you for bringing Stacy in so we could talk
Thank
with
you.
him.
Thank you for having us on.
This is for everyone out there. Please stop by Queen Ka'ahumanu Center on Saturday, April 28th, between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and get checked out, and at least talk to some of the people there. You're going to have people who, like Stacy.
Yep.
You never know, I might be there.
There you go. There you go. Okay. Oh, that's right. Your time on dialysis is after that,
Yeah,
right?
it's after that. Exactly right.
I think his wife is Leona is going to be
Yeah,
there
I believe
for
she's
us.
gonna be helping.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Okay.
We couldn't do it without all. We'll probably have 100 volunteers, medical and lay volunteers that help us because we're only a staff of 1.5
Wow.
people.
That's
So
terrific.
we have great people
and
helping.
you have such a challenge to keep everybody alert to what's out there and what's going on and how to. It's not something you can protect yourself from. Is that right?
Well, for a lot of people, Stacy got like acute kidney disease. A lot of people, it's chronic kidney disease. So things like high blood pressure and diabetes and a family history of it and all of that contribute to it. So if you have a family member who is on dialysis, in most cases, you might have some of those risk factors too. So, the prudent diet and the half-hour walk a day and things like that again, help so many of our lifestyle diseases and different things. So there are things you can do, but sometimes it smacks you in the kidney.
But,
Smacks you in the kidney.
I
There
can
you go.
stress exercise is the most important thing.
Yeah.
That's the most important item you can ever do in your daily routine. It's some type of exercise.
And it's just so easy for us to say.
Nobody realizes it,
Tomorrow.
but that's the most important thing.
You're living proof.
Yeah,
There you go. Thank you again so
Thank
very
you,
much. Thank
Susie.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. You all have a great day.
Thank you.
Our next guest we have with us, we're going to totally shift gears. We have John Anderson of the. What did I do with your note, John? See, I missed my co-host. Where's my co-host?
She'd keep you in line.
Huh?
She'd keep you in line.
Yeah, she would. She would. John Anderson is with.
Nahaleo Maui,
There
our
we-
community land trust.
Thank you. What was it we were talking about the other day? As at Lokahi we do affordable housing, as you know, and it's interesting to me the people who say they don't like working with you because they'll never own the land, and yet they can get twice the house for the price.
And full use of the land, exclusive use of the land, they
Exactly.
just won't technically own it.
Right.
And the analysis, when you look at the community land trust model, which is very different than a conventional leasehold model, is it's the closest thing to fee simple that you can get without paying the full price for fee simple.
Right.
Because it's a 99-year ground lease that's renewable for another 99 years, and that's at the total control of the owner of the house. So full exclusive use of the land.
Maybe it's because I come from Oahu where we had leasehold for so many years, and we never thought anything about it. We paid $25 a year for the use of the land. And it was, when they started selling the land, we're all sitting there going, what? We didn't realize how we had it made. That we could do anything we wanted. We never had to ask before we put in a pool or before we did this or that. And so I guess that's why it startles me when people go, but I won't own the land.
Well, it's interesting. One of the thoughts I had going into this 5 years ago was that the acceptance of the community land trust in Hawaii would be easier than on the mainland, because on the mainland, leasehold concept is so foreign that they've never experienced it before, and Hawaii is much more akamai on that, and we have far more leasehold here than anywhere else on the mainland. But what I found in the last 5 years is that that's actually been a barrier, because as Mark Twain said so well, it's not what you don't know that will get you, it's what you know that just ain't so. And a lot of people know things about the community land trust leasehold that just ain't so, because it's not the same as a conventional leasehold. We do not have a surrender clause at the end of the ground lease that you have to pack your bags and walk away and get with nothing. At the end of our 99 years, if the homeowner chooses not to renew for another 99 years, the land trust has to write them a check for the value of the house based on the resale formula in the ground lease. So our leasehold does not decline in value like a conventional leasehold does. And in fact, Fannie Mae issued very specific guidelines for appraisers to use, because Fannie Mae and other big lending institutions understand that the community land trust sustainable leasehold has far more value than a conventional leasehold. And so the appraisers are given specific guidelines on how to appraise a community land trust, and it's much higher appraisal than a
Wow.
conventional leasehold. In fact, our appraisals have been coming in only about 5% below fee simple, but we sell the properties at a minimum of 25% below fee simple, building in an equity cushion from day one, which has virtually eliminated the need in most cases for private mortgage insurance, which also lowers the cost of the monthly home ownership. Some of the other differences between the community land trust leasehold and conventional is the renegotiation that takes place in conventional leasehold. Every 5-7 years, depending on the terms of the lease, the monthly ground rent is adjusted based on changes in land value. And people over the years have seen monthly leasehold payments of $200 shoot to $700 upon renegotiation. That is also not part of our leasehold. It is not tied, the monthly rent is not tied to changes in land value. There is an increase every 5 years, but it's only based on CPI changes, so inflation. So the $40 a month today has the same comparative value 10 years from now, but that is hugely different than changes in land value. That's one of the examples, and our $40 a month lease fee is way below market for what would be comparable. Comparable ground rents for the type of properties that we're making available are like $200 to $300 a month, not $40 a month. So big differences. Conventional leaseholds are much shorter term, don't have renew clauses like we do. And so you're looking at 198 years of exclusive use and control of that property. That's a good 7 generations of your family can live on that. We'll be long gone by the time we deal with that. But one of the things that I'm asked is, well, what happens, if Nahalio Maui isn't here 10 years from now or 20 years from now? And it's a very good question, because our bylaws provide, and the ground lease provides, that if for some reason we cannot continue to exist, the ownership of the land would be transferred to another nonprofit with similar goals, and the ground lease is binding and remains exactly the same, or it could be transferred to the county government. And if neither of those things takes place, then the fee simple ownership is offered to the homeowner. So the homeowner has the ultimate protection that if we're not there 99 years from now or 50 years from now, and we certainly intend to be, that they will be offered the ownership of the land. So very fundamental differences from a conventional leasehold model.
So if we're, like you said, you're not going anywhere, but if it goes to another organization or the county, all lease terms stay the same.
They are absolutely remain the same.
Locked in.
They are locked in from the time that ground lease is signed for 99 years, and another 99 years if the owner chooses to renew. So the option is at the choice of the owner, not the land trust.
Right. Wow. That's good to know, because like I said, I have my view of why it's not a big deal to not own the land, but this is good ammunition. So now I'm ready for them next time they ask. So going back to basics, why have a community land trust?
Well, it's very interesting. There are now over 250 community land trusts in 45 states in the country, and the movement started back as very much part of the civil rights movement of the 1960s, and it shares common roots with Habitat for Humanity. Some of the same people were involved in establishing the first community land trusts in Georgia that were involved in creating Habitat for Humanity. They've gone on different paths over the years, but now they're actually coming back together, and there's a lot of joint ventures being done between Habitat and community land trusts around the country. Habitat set up a special website to promote that, and the fit is very good that way. So the community land trust model has been around for a while. It is now time proven and tested. It does work, and it's working here in the state of Hawaii. We have 20 properties, single-family homes in our inventory. 13 of them have been rehabilitated and sold to homeowners, the improvements sold to homeowners with our ground lease, and we are the very first community land trust in the state. And we're breaking, new ground, and there are other counties that are very interested in what's been happening on Maui, Kauai, and especially. So, when you're dealing with high-cost areas, and we only have to look back a few years to see starter homes priced at over $500,000, and young families with children cannot start, their home ownership by paying $500,000. They simply can't afford it. What's affordable in our county is $300,000 or less for the workforce. And there haven't been any, livable single-family homes for that for many, many years. So by removing the value of the land from the equation and bringing in the concept of affordability in perpetuity as opposed to short-term affordability that's provided by a deed restriction, we can, subsidize these homes, invest the money that we're investing because they're assets for the community, and we are a community land trust that is established to benefit the community and the homeowners who partake in that.
Okay, on that note, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back with John Anderson.
Aloha from Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in Central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are a Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
And welcome back once again. My name is Susie Tiemann. I'm the Interim Executive Director of Lokahi Pacific and President of the Maui Nonprofit Directors, and your host for this week's Maui Nonprofit Notes radio show. We're talking story with John Anderson of... Why can't I ever get the name of your organization?
The Homes of Maui, Nahaleo Maui.
What is it? There's just certain things. Gary, you see this happening to me every once in a while, right? Certain things, it's just a blank, but yet I love what you do. I think it's a great thing. And I was fascinated by what you said a little earlier when you were talking about Habitat joining together, and what that basically does is allows the families to be able to go into properties that they maybe could not have afforded.
Correct.
Under the traditional model, where you have to buy the land and then, with the help of Habitat, build your house. Now you're going in with a lease and a small monthly payment for that. And so you can actually do more with the house in many cases, I would think.
And wind up with more of a house.
Right.
And a single-family home as opposed to a condominium or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, so there's great flexibility of the model. There's great partnership potential. I have been talking with our local Habitat affiliate. I am looking for property for them to build on, and we will go into a joint venture where we will have the sweat equity model of Habitat combined with the sustainable leasehold model of the community land trust, and we'll be able to offer ownership to families, as Habitat does, who earn 60% or less than median income. The families we're serving right now, under the funding that we're receiving, we can go up to 120% of area median income, and that category still needs help. They're condominiums on the market that they can afford, but very few single-family homes, even with the drop in prices that's taken place. So the majority of the workforce of Maui can participate in our program, and many other programs are limited to 60% or 80%. Very few go up to the 120%. our homeowners are, school teachers and hotel workers and the workforce of this island. And they've been priced out of, safe, decent, single-family housing for many years. And we're putting young families into houses, and when we, give them the keys and, the tears come out of their eyes, and we hear things like, we never thought we'd ever be able to own a home on Maui. We were prepared to move to the mainland to raise our children, and now they're going to our local neighborhood school, and we're still here with our families. And that's why we're doing this, because they have not had that opportunity, and they're going into beautiful single-family homes that they will live in for many years.
Right. I was looking at your, again, website as my prep for the show, and the homes that you've been able to rehab, foreclosed homes.
Yes, there have been abandoned foreclosed homes. We've acquired them either from the banks or directly from the court system and judicial foreclosures. We have rehabilitated them to move-in condition, because many of them have been very seriously stripped of all appliances, kitchen cabinets, light fixtures, all that kind of stuff. We go in, do all of that. It's a turnkey move-in situation. We provide more than even builders do in new construction. We're providing the appliances and window coverings, so you literally can move in, move your furniture in, hang your clothes up, and enjoy your home.
Wow.
So that's a special opportunity for people. And it's also the really fascinating thing is some of our funding comes from HUD, and we have to do ethnicity reports for HUD. And we were just thrilled to find out that in our first 12 families, 50% were Hawaiian or part Hawaiian, and many of those could not take advantage of the Hawaiian Homelands program, but they came to us and could share the same kind of benefits.
Wow.
And the other 50% were equally distributed between mixed Pacific Island, Asian, and Caucasian. So it really reflects the balance in this island in so many ways, and it shows you who needs safe, decent, affordable housing, and that's what we're providing.
That's terrific. Now, you also do workshops or seminars.
Yes, in fact, we prepare people for home ownership through a very simple 4-step program that begins with a 1-hour orientation seminar. So you can come at no cost and find out, is this model right for you? Is it a good fit? Because, we're the first to say, if you can afford to go buy fee simple, do it. But with all the foreclosures we've seen for people who couldn't afford the loan products they were given and that kind of thing, that I have to caution you, you really do need to be able to afford it. We're fiscally very conservative. We don't let our buyers get in over their heads. Their monthly payments are no more than 35 to 36% of their gross monthly income, and most families on this island are spending 50% of their gross monthly income for housing expense. And, we don't allow that. We don't allow the homeowners to use the house as a piggy bank and refinance it and pull money out, which has wound up to be one of the big foreclosure causes. And on that note, a survey that was done last year nationwide, less than 1% foreclosure rate for community land trust loans. That's the lowest foreclosure rate of any type of loan available on residential property in this country. A-grade paper has a 7% foreclosure rate, and those are your prime borrowers, and they're at 7%. Community land trust, less than 1%. And we're there to backstop them, to help them if they get into a problem. And so, we are a little paternalistic that way, but you know what? Our buyers have thanked us for that, because
Sure.
they haven't had the guidance and the training and education, which is also part of our 4-step program, an 8-hour home ownership preparation course, that they know things and they have people to rely on us if something happens and that was unforeseen that way. Our homeowners are responsible for the maintenance of their homes, but we're there to help them, guide them to the proper people and all of that. So one of the things that attracted me to the model was this interesting combination of ownership that was socially progressive, but an organization that is fiscally conservative. And, that's what our country needs right now, are socially progressive programs that are fiscally conservative.
Right.
And the Community Land Trust is that way. And on our board of directors, I have very liberal Democrats and very conservative Republicans, and the common ground is affordable housing and the Community Land Trust. All political parties can buy into this model, and they have bought into this model.
Now, in talking about these seminars or workshops, do they have to be a part of your program? I mean, are they on a list to buy something from you, or can they be general public?
Let me address it. Our first or 1 hour orientation seminar is open to the general public. That's where you come in and find out, does this make sense for you? The next one that's coming up is in 2 weeks. It's Saturday, April 28th. It's a 1 hour presentation, 9 to 10 a.m., and it will be at the Good Shepherd Church Parish Hall, right next to McDonald's in downtown Wailuku. Plenty of parking around there. Please call our office if you would like to attend. Phone number is 244-6110. That's 244-6110. We do have limited seating in the parish hall, and we do fill that hall from time to time, so we want to make sure that you get a seat there. And that would be the step number 1 of a 4-step program. So once again, Saturday, April 28th, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Another opportunity that's coming up for you, and you also can come and speak to me and our staff, the County Department of Housing and Human Concerns next Saturday is putting on the Building New Horizons Maui Housing Expo.
That's this Saturday.
This is coming Saturday.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly correct. And from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., and this is open to the general public, free of charge. It's going to be at the University of Hawaii Maui campus multi-purpose room. It's the old cafeteria, if I recall correctly. And, we're going to have a booth there. Other suppliers of affordable housing are going to have information there about rental programs, down payment assistance programs. Come and see our houses and talk to us about it and see if it makes sense to you. And you can also sign up for our orientation seminar the following Saturday if you come this Saturday to the Maui Housing Expo at UH Maui campus.
All kinds of good stuff happening.
A lot of opportunities out there for people to get into housing, and now's the time to do it with interest rates as low as they are. And our program, that we're getting financing through Home Street Bank at conventional rates, which are very low right now. And we have also announced our own internal down payment assistance program. It's a matching grant program that will match our buyers' savings up to $7,500 so that they can have the $15,000 necessary for down payment and closing costs, because that's what it takes to get into our houses, because all of our houses are priced now under $300,000, and it's a 3% down payment and a 2% closing cost. And so if you have $7,500 or your family can give you a gift letter for $7,500, we'll match that with a 15-year forgivable grant, and that will get you into that property. It's fully lender approved, and that's the number one barrier that we have found in the 4 years we've been doing these orientation seminars, and we have had hundreds of Maui people come through. We consistently hear, I've got a good job, I've got good credit, but I don't have the down payment. And now we're trying to remove that barrier from the equation as well.
Wow, that's terrific. Now, you must have a wait list.
We have about 25 families that have gone through, and we've put 13 families in so far. And it's not a waiting list that is in any order, because our homes are scattered all over the island, and we have some of our families looking on the west side, some of them waiting for upcountry, some of them waiting for central. And when we have a home finished and available, all of our people who've gone through the 4-step program get invited to a private open house. And if they want to buy that house, they give us a statement of interest, and we go through all the financial qualifications at that point. And so you're not waiting with 100 people in front of you. You could literally, we've had people go through our program and get a house within a couple months of completing it. Others who may be looking for areas where we've had less availability, may be on the list for a longer period of time than that. But don't let that stand in your way, because we've got a total of 20 single-family homes right now. 13 of them have been completed. The rest are in rehabilitation. I'm going to have three-bedroom, 2-bath homes in the Pomakai neighborhood of Kahului coming up within the next month or so, and they will be priced at $225. And these have 7,500 square foot lots. And $225 is affordable for a family earning 60% of area median income. So if your if your family does not earn over 120%, you can go after these houses, and they're very affordable, and they will be in move-in condition.
Now, realtors don't get involved in this.
Realtors have referred clients to us, yes. And in a couple occasions, we are a real estate brokerage firm, and we're members of MLS. And so we're fully participating in organized real estate. We don't work outside of it. And we've had a couple transactions where, and they were early on, and when we didn't have as many people on our families on our list, where we didn't have a family on the list ready to buy it. And we did list the property on MLS, and it was sold. But the people had to go through the same, four-step program. But the majority of our houses have gone directly to people on our list, and we have not needed to list them on the multiple listing service.
So it sounds like you do these seminars on a regular basis. So what are they, 4 times a year?
Yeah,
or more
a
often?
minimum of 4 times. We've stepped it up right now, and we're doing them basically every other month right now because the demand is there and the opportunity is there. And I have funding to acquire another 20 homes. So there's going to be a supply on a monthly basis of available homes, which is why we're really encouraging people to step up to the plate, get involved in the program, because you could be a homeowner very soon.
What worst case scenario? What happens if nobody buys a house that you've renovated?
We have not had that happen.
You don't. Okay. Does the price go down until it works, or?
Well, we could rent it out. We could do a rent-to-own program. With that, there are a number of creative options that we have as contingencies, but we have not had that problem because our houses are so well priced compared to the market and are in great condition by the time we're done.
Yeah, and I was going to say most of them are fairly new to start with.
Yes, the HUD financing came with a restriction that we had to buy houses that were built prior to 1978, and they wanted us to concentrate on the neighborhoods that had the highest percentages of foreclosures. And so we have acquired, to give you an example, 7 homes in the Legends at Maui Lani. Now, these homes are only about 5 years old,
Right.
and they're beautiful homes. But that neighborhood has been devastated by foreclosures. It currently has a 45% foreclosure rate
My
for that
gosh.
one subdivision. And HUD told us concentrate on areas where you can make a difference to the neighborhood. And that's what we're doing.
Wow, that's awesome. And you're doing all this with a staff of
3.
Wow. So you're a little busy.
And we're employing quite a few contractors on the island, and they're happy to get the work. The painters and our carpenters and our electricians and our plumbers, we job all of that out. So there are a lot more than 3 people
Right.
involved.
Oh, yeah.
There are 30 plus people involved in receiving employment from these rehabilitations, and that's helping local economy because we're putting people to work and we're putting families into these homes, and a vacant home that's been boarded up or overgrown brings the value of the whole neighborhood down.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to stop from happening.
John, that's terrific. And one more time, your phone number, 244.
6110.
6110.
We have an orientation seminar coming up on Saturday, April 28th. The county's got a housing expo coming up on Saturday the 21st. Come find out all the opportunities that are now available for affordable housing, rentals, and ownership.
Great. Thank you so much, John. And for the Kidney Decline Day and for more information from the Kidney Foundation, 986-1900. We talked to them earlier today. Thank you all for joining us for our weekly radio show here at KAOI. We'll be back next Wednesday when we will talk to 2 more folks who are helping to make Maui the best it can be. And to all of you, have a great week. Aloha.